What if I told you there's a way to silence all the noise around you and unlock a version of yourself that's focused, fearless, and free? Not through chasing success or pleasing others, but by doing one simple thing, something ancient, something powerful, something within your control. Because once you learn to master this one thing, your decisions become clearer, your confidence grows stronger, and a deep inner calm begins to take root. Imagine waking up tomorrow and everything in your life feels like it finally fits into place. You're not second-guessing yourself anymore. Every choice you make feels intentional. Your confidence isn't just visible, it's unwavering. And most importantly, there's a quiet stillness inside you, a kind of peace you've never known before. Unrealistic? Not at all. Today, I'm going to walk you through the secret to unlocking that exact power within yourself. Now, here's the truth. It's not about impressing others. It's not about chasing trends or temporary highs. It's not about fame, money, or validation. The answer lies in one powerful mindset shift, learning to focus on yourself fully, unapologetically. That's what we're diving into today. Through the timeless lens of Stoic philosophy, the sharper edges of dark psychology, and lessons drawn from ancient wisdom, we'll explore how to reclaim your mind and master your life. But before we begin, let me ask you something, honestly. What if your entire life could start to change just by redirecting your attention? Imagine that. One small shift, from looking outward to looking inward, from seeking approval to building unshakable clarity. That's it, one decision. Focus only on you. If that idea stirs something inside you, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Part 1. The power of focus. Let's talk about focus, but not the kind that helps you check things off a to-do list. No, this is deeper. This is the kind of focus that shapes your destiny, the kind that cuts through distraction like a blade and places you, your growth, your values, your mind, at the very center of everything. Because let's face it, in today's hyper-connected world, we're pulled in 1,000 directions. Social media screams for attention. People's opinions slip into our heads without us realizing it. The constant buzz of life drowns out our inner compass. And this is where we fall off course. Stoicism warns us of this exact mistake. The moment you start looking outward for meaning, approval, or guidance, you surrender your power. You lose your grip on what truly matters. But here's the unshakable truth. The only thing in this life that you can control fully and completely is yourself. Your thoughts, your reactions, your mindset. The ancient Stoics grasped this centuries ago, and even now, in a modern world full of noise and chaos, their wisdom remains the key. Focus solely on yourself. Quiet the outside world, and suddenly clarity appears. Your mind becomes sharper, your choices more precise. You begin to step into the person you were always meant to become. Now, what happens next when you maintain this focus? Let's move into that in the next section. Previously, we explored the life-changing power of focus, how turning inward allows your mind to sharpen and your path to become clearer. But what happens when you fully commit to this mindset? You begin to see things differently. Patterns that once slipped by unnoticed now stand out with striking clarity. You stop reacting to life and start responding, not based on what others expect from you, but based on your own deeply rooted principles. So, let me ask you, what if you stop chasing approval altogether? What if, instead of trying to meet everyone else's standards, you poured that energy into becoming the truest version of yourself? How would your life change? Now, let's move deeper. It's time for a second cornerstone of Stoic wisdom, the principle of control. The Stoics taught that one of life's greatest truths is this: focus only on what you can control. Let go of everything else. At first glance, it sounds simple, but in practice, it's one of the hardest lessons to master. Think about it. How much of your time is spent worrying about things completely outside your influence, the way others perceive you, the chaos unfolding in the world, things that happened years ago that you can't go back and change? These things are beyond your power, and yet we let them dominate our thoughts. We let them steal our peace, drain our energy, distort our judgment. But the Stoics were clear. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful Stoic emperor, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That one idea can liberate you. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and turn your focus inward onto your thoughts, your responses, your actions, everything shifts. You reclaim your mental energy, you become calmer, more decisive, more resilient, and in that stillness, you begin to feel something rare in our modern world: freedom. Take a moment and ask yourself, how often do you stress over things you have no influence over? How often do you let your peace be dictated by circumstances or people you can't control? Shift your focus. Come back to what's truly yours, yourself. Because when you do, you begin to experience a new kind of strength. Not loud or boastful, but quiet, grounded, and unshakable. Now, let's take this even further, because there's a third piece to this transformation. It's time to talk about one of the most subtle traps in modern life, and how letting go of external validation unlocks your inner power. Previously, we uncovered the power of focusing only on what you can control, and how that shift creates space for freedom and clarity. But there's another hidden influence we often overlook: the weight of other people's opinions. We live in a world where it's almost second nature to chase approval. We seek praise, dodge criticism, and let our value rise or fall based on what others think of us. It's subtle, but it's powerful, and it's everywhere. But here's a hard truth. The more you chase validation from others, the more disconnected you become from your true self. You begin to mold your behavior to fit expectations. You silence your own voice just to be liked. And slowly, without even realizing it, you hand over control of your identity to someone else. The Stoics understood this danger well. They warned us of the emotional chaos that comes from relying on external validation. When your sense of self is tied to others' opinions, your peace is no longer yours. Seneca, one of the most profound Stoic philosophers, captured this perfectly when he said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." He wasn't just offering poetic wisdom, he was issuing a warning. When you desire praise and fear rejection, you give away your autonomy. So what's the alternative? When you shift your focus inward, something amazing happens. You stop waiting for the applause. You stop fearing the boos. You stop living for the crowd. And in doing so, you reconnect with the voice that matters most, your own. Living this way doesn't mean becoming arrogant or isolated. It means anchoring your worth in something unshakable, your own values, your own growth, your own peace. That's the power of letting go of validation. So ask yourself honestly, how much of what you do is shaped by other people's expectations? And what would change if you let that go? Because when you focus solely on yourself, you no longer need their approval to feel worthy. You already are. Now that you understand the importance of this shift, it's time to explore a practice that makes this mindset sustainable, something the Stoics didn't just preach but lived daily. Let's talk about self-reflection and daily rituals. In the last section, we touched on the power of daily self-reflection, a simple but profound Stoic ritual that strengthens your awareness and sharpens your mind. But to truly grow, reflection must be paired with action, and that action begins with breaking free from what holds you back. The Stoic practice of journaling may seem basic, but don't underestimate it. At the end of each day, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What was within my control and what wasn't? It's in these small, honest moments that massive transformation begins. By focusing solely on yourself day after day, you'll start noticing subtle shifts in your mindset. And over time, those small shifts add up to undeniable growth. So, here's a challenge for you. Pause for a second. Think about today. What's one thing worth reflecting on right now? Drop it in the comments with the phrase, "Today is my opportunity to improve." Because once you commit to this practice, you'll never look at your days the same way again. Now that we've laid the foundation of self-awareness, it's time to confront something even more powerful, something that quietly shapes your identity every single day, your habits. Let's talk about toxic habits, those patterns and behaviors that silently sabotage your potential. We all have them. It might be procrastination or the way you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Maybe it's losing hours mindlessly scrolling through social media. Whatever it is, it's keeping you from fully focusing on your own growth. These habits feel comforting in the moment, but over time, they anchor you to mediocrity. They create loops of self-doubt, missed opportunities, and wasted energy. The Stoics taught us a profound truth. Our habits reveal our character. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And your thoughts? They're often shaped directly by your habits. When you center your attention solely on yourself, you begin to see these toxic patterns clearly. You can recognize what drains your energy. And more importantly, you can choose differently. Start replacing what weakens you with what strengthens you. Journaling, movement, meaningful reading, intentional conversations. These small acts of discipline become daily anchors that pull you closer to your highest self. Be unapologetic in cutting out distractions. Protect your energy. Create space for better habits to grow, because the life you want will only come from the habits you build. So ask yourself right now, what toxic habit is keeping you from becoming who you want to be? Drop it in the comments with, "I'm letting go of what no longer serves me." Now, Once you've started breaking free from what drains you, the next step is to build momentum with something even more powerful: daily discipline and consistency. Let's explore that next. In the last section, we uncovered how toxic habits quietly sabotage growth and how replacing them with purposeful actions leads to real transformation. But there's another silent force holding many of us back: the weight of other people's opinions. Let's be honest, we all care, at least a little, about what others think. It's human. Wanting to be accepted, respected, or even admired is part of how we're wired. But here's a truth that cuts deep. Other people's opinions are irrelevant to your personal growth. We live in a world where external validation has become a currency. There's this invisible pressure to conform, to be liked, to match some vague standard of success or happiness. But how many times have you caught yourself adjusting your actions, second-guessing a decision, or holding back your true self just because you were worried about what someone else might think? Take a moment. Really think about that. How much of your energy, your focus, your creativity, your peace is being drained just trying to meet other people's expectations? It's like you're acting out a role in a script you didn't even write. Playing the part, hitting the cues, hoping for applause. But the moment you decide to focus solely on yourself, everything shifts. You stop handing out pieces of your identity in exchange for approval. You stop letting their judgments set the course for your life. And this is where the real magic begins. You become free. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that true power lies in how you choose to respond, not in trying to control what others think. Epictetus said it best: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Other people's opinions? They're outside your control. What is within your control is far more powerful: your thoughts, your reactions, your direction. And once you fully embrace that, you start living your life, not someone else's. Let go of the need to explain yourself. Let go of the pressure to be understood by everyone, because you don't need their permission to become who you're meant to be. The more you feed the need for approval, the more power you give away. It's like handing someone the keys to your peace, your purpose, your potential. But the moment you take those keys back, when you stop living for their applause, you start making decisions that reflect your values, your truth, and your vision. Now that you understand how freeing it is to stop living under the weight of others' expectations, let's take that strength and channel it into something even more powerful: building unshakable inner discipline. Let's explore that next. In the previous part, we explored how freeing it is to stop living under the weight of others' opinions, and how reclaiming your inner power begins with letting go of external validation. Now, what happens once that weight lifts? You stop chasing after compliments. You no longer measure your worth by the number of likes, the applause of others, or their fleeting approval. Instead, something deeper starts to grow: fulfillment from within. You begin to realize that the most powerful satisfaction doesn't come from the outside. It comes from living with honesty, purpose, and alignment, not with what others expect of you, but with who you truly are. Here's a challenge worth taking seriously. Focus solely on yourself and watch. Watch how the craving for validation begins to disappear. Watch how your decisions become more confident, more aligned, more you. Watch how your sense of self becomes solid, unshakable. And most of all, observe how your life begins to move in a direction that actually feels right. Not because someone approved, but because you did. So now I want to ask you directly, how often have you allowed someone else's opinion to shape your decisions? How much of your life has been quietly molded by trying to please people who don't even truly know you? If you're ready to end that cycle, drop a comment with, "I am my own measure of success." Because once you claim that truth, something incredible happens. You begin to rewire your mind. And that brings us to the next essential step in this transformation, rewiring your mindset. Once you've made the decision to turn inward, to focus solely on yourself, it's time to reshape the way you think. Because transformation doesn't happen by accident. It begins in the mind. Here's the reality. Most people drift through life on autopilot. They absorb thoughts from the news, social media, or random opinions. Their emotional state rises and falls with the chaos around them. But Stoicism offers a different path, one rooted in intention, clarity, and control. The Stoics believed that the mind is your most powerful tool, but only if you train it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Simple words, profound truth. Your thoughts don't just reflect your reality, they create it. The more consciously you shape them, the more power you gain over how you feel, how you act, and how you experience life. When you focus solely on yourself, you stop handing over control of your mindset to circumstances. You stop blaming the world, and instead, you begin taking full responsibility for your inner world. This shift changes everything. You begin to see challenges as lessons, pain as growth, setbacks as setups for something greater, and that leads us to an even deeper layer of mental mastery, learning how to build resilience and emotional discipline. Let's move into that next. Previously, we explored how rewiring your mindset changes the way you interpret life, from seeing setbacks as failures to viewing them as valuable feedback. Now let's continue deepening that transformation. When you begin to reframe challenges as lessons and criticism as feedback, something powerful happens. You unlock a new level of mental clarity, resilience, and inner strength. But let's be real. Rewiring your mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, one that takes patience, repetition, and intention. Start with small, simple shifts. Practice gratitude every single day. When problems arise, train yourself to focus on solutions instead of spiraling into negativity. And here's a powerful habit. Whenever a negative thought surfaces, don't just accept it, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me move forward, or is it holding me back? This constant practice, though subtle at first, leads to massive inner transformation over time. Because the more you consistently focus on yourself, the more you begin to see something clearly. The key to happiness, success, and fulfillment was never out there. It was always within you. And as your mindset evolves, you'll notice your outer world slowly shifting to reflect the inner strength you've cultivated. Relationships change, opportunities appear, peace grows. Why? Because your energy is no longer chaotic, it's aligned. So let me ask you directly. Are you ready to take control of your thoughts instead of letting them control you? Are you ready to rewire your mind for strength, clarity, and long-term success? If you are, comment below with, "My mind is my most powerful tool." That commitment is your first step toward a completely new way of thinking and living. Now that we've laid the foundation for mental transformation, it's time to go even deeper. Let's explore concrete Stoic practices that were designed to strengthen the mind and help you stay anchored in yourself no matter what life throws your way. Let's begin with this. The Stoics didn't just speak about self-mastery, they lived it every single day. Their practices weren't theoretical. They were practical tools tested over centuries, used to build emotional control, mental resilience, and profound self-awareness. These aren't just ideas for philosophers or scholars. These are tools for you right now. One of the most powerful techniques, negative visualization. It may sound uncomfortable at first, but it's a game changer. This practice asks you to imagine your worst-case scenario, losing what you love most, facing your greatest fear, or enduring deep hardship. You mentally rehearse it, not to invite suffering, but to prepare your mind. Why do this? Because it strips away illusion. It teaches you to accept the impermanence of life. And when you've mentally faced the worst, you become less afraid of it. You loosen your grip on attachment and gain clarity on what truly matters. You also begin to feel a renewed sense of appreciation. Instead of taking things for granted, you start seeing everything as a gift, even the simple, ordinary moments. And from that mindset, you grow stronger. In the next part, we'll explore even more Stoic practices that deepen this strength, starting with the powerful art of voluntary discomfort. Let's keep going. In the previous section, we explored the Stoic practice of negative visualization, facing your fears mentally to reduce their power over you. Now, let's continue with other powerful Stoic rituals that sharpen your focus, anchor your peace, and keep you aligned with your values. To truly live with gratitude and acceptance, the Stoics believed in staying mindful throughout the day. One way they practiced this was through morning and evening reflections. Start each morning with intention. Take a moment before the noise of the world floods in, and remind yourself of what's in your control today and what isn't. It might be something as simple as saying, "I cannot control what happens, but I can control how I respond." Then, as night falls, pause again. Look back at your day. Ask yourself, did I live according to my values? Where did I act with integrity? Where could I improve tomorrow? These small but consistent check-ins keep you grounded. They build self-awareness, and they ensure you're not drifting, but living deliberately, guided by your own inner compass. Another powerful Stoic discipline is voluntary discomfort. This practice is about intentionally stepping into discomfort, not to punish yourself, but to train your mind. It could be something simple, a cold shower, skipping a meal, taking a break from technology, walking when it's raining. These aren't acts of suffering, they're acts of strengthening. You're teaching your mind that you can endure temporary discomfort, and each time you do, your resilience grows. You become less reactive, more composed, and far more prepared for life's unexpected challenges. When practiced consistently, these exercises shape a mindset that's calm under pressure, focused in chaos, and centered on what truly matters, your own growth and self-mastery. Because the more you focus solely on yourself, the more clearly you'll see just how powerful these Stoic habits are. They aren't abstract theories, they're tools that forge an unshakable mind. So here's your challenge. Choose one Stoic practice to begin today. Whether it's morning journaling, evening reflection, negative visualization, or embracing discomfort, just start. Take that small step toward becoming mentally stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your truest self. And when you do, drop a comment below with, "I am becoming unshakable." That declaration isn't just words, it's a commitment to your evolution. Now, we've covered a lot so far, from mastering your focus and breaking free from external approval, to rewiring your mindset and applying Stoic tools for growth. But maybe you're wondering, can this really work for me? Let's talk about that, because the answer might surprise you. In the previous section, we asked the question, can this really work for me? And the answer is yes, but only if you're willing to take action. Now let's look at what that first step truly means. It all begins with one powerful decision, focusing solely on yourself. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's not about shutting out the world or ignoring the people around you. It's about realizing something far more profound. The ability to change your life, to shape your emotions, and to rewrite your future lives within you. No one else can do it for you. No external event, no lucky break, no opinion from someone else will ever replace the strength that comes from turning inward and taking ownership of your mindset. Sure, life will throw distractions your way. Circumstances will challenge your focus. But when you make the conscious decision to invest in your own development, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, everything around you begins to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you do. And yes, this journey may feel overwhelming at times. It might feel slow, uncertain, or even frustrating. But trust this, every small step you take, every moment you choose self-reflection, every decision to focus on what's in your control, every time you let go of what isn't, moves you closer to clarity, confidence, and freedom. The Stoics never promised comfort. What they offered instead was something much more powerful, truth paired with action. And here's that truth again. If you want change, you can't wait for it. You must create it. That means journaling when you feel distracted. It means leaning into discomfort when your instincts tell you to avoid it. It means noticing your thoughts and asking, is this helping me grow? The Stoic path is not a theory, it's a practice. And it's in that daily practice, those small, repeated decisions, that your mindset begins to transform. Freedom doesn't come from escaping life's problems. It comes from standing tall in the middle of them with unshakable clarity built on a foundation you created, a mindset that isn't tossed around by public opinion, a peace that doesn't vanish when things go wrong. And the more you focus solely on yourself, the more your real power begins to surface. You'll notice it in your decisions, clearer and more grounded, in your resilience, stronger and more steady, in your way of living, authentic, deliberate, and deeply aligned. This is what true power looks like, not flashy, not loud, but rooted in self-awareness and forged in discipline. So, if you're ready to stop drifting, if you're ready to break out of autopilot and start building a life that's truly your own, now is the time. Start small. Reflect each day. Challenge your habits. Let go of what no longer serves you. And in the next part, Let's walk together through a powerful daily blueprint to help you apply everything you've learned so far, step by step. Previously, we explored how true transformation begins with a single decision focusing solely on yourself, and how consistent practice of Stoic principles can reshape your life from the inside out. Now it's time to turn that awareness into real action. Start by mastering the fundamentals. Observe your thoughts, practice gratitude, and stay present. As you do, you'll start to feel a quiet shift. Your decisions become clearer, your emotions more stable, and your life begins aligning with what truly matters to you, not what the world expects. This isn't just a mindset, it's a way of life. And it all starts with choosing to show up for yourself, day after day. Now, if this message resonated with you, if you found even one insight today that sparked something inside, take a moment to reflect on it. Let it settle, and then take action. Leave a comment below with, "I am the architect of my mind." Say it out loud if you have to, because claiming that phrase is more than a comment. It's a declaration, a commitment to self-mastery, a promise to yourself that you're done waiting and you're ready to build. This is your invitation to step into a community of people who are done living on autopilot, people who are ready to focus inward, grow stronger every day, and support one another in the process. Let this be your first step towards something greater, and as you continue on the Stoic path, remember this: keep growing, keep evolving, and most of all, keep focusing on yourself, because that's where it all begins. You already have the power within you. I believe in it. And more importantly, it's time you believe in it too. The journey starts now.